Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto. Hope you're having a good one. Let's dig in. So, just yesterday I told you about Prime Trust. Well, a couple of days ago I told you about Prime Trust, right? First, BitGo was going to buy them, and then BitGo was not. BitGo went. So when I look at that, I was like, oh, something must be a little smelly. Guess what? Prime Trust was told by Nevada to shut down. Why? Apparently, Nevada is saying that allegedly, Nevada is saying that all the way back in January 2021, they've been trying to hide, or Prime Trust has been trying to hide the fact that they lost the keys. Yeah, if you have crypto, you know what that means. They lost the keys to millions in crypto and have been trying to cover it up ever since. That's a problem. That is a major problem. And it's gonna have Primates is small. They're no FTX, they're no, big spot. They're small. Less than a couple of 100 million. Now, they're gonna have a poor effect or a big effect on Audius, and we'll get into that later. Audius is the crypto they're holding a lot of now. But imagine the first thing that everybody's gonna look at is, oh, Prime Trust. Okay, I get it. They failed. Okay, I totally get it. Businesses mess up and they go out of business all the time. They lost the keys, though. And what does that mean? We should all know that that means that all of that crypto got burned. So what I'm interested in finding out is, what crypto did they burn? It was by mistake, but burn is burn. I want to know how much crypto is now off the market. That's what I'm talking about. That's a big deal. That is a very, very, very big deal. So I'm wondering about that. Now, not to be outdone, not to be left out in the cold. Fidelity. I told you a few days ago, last week, I told you that Fidelity might be looking to buy Grayscale. And I also told you the reason why they were looking to buy Grayscale. They wanted to get into they wanted to have their own Bitcoin spot ETF. And guess what? Sounds like they're going to file that paperwork whether they get Grayscale or not. That's huge, because that says that, they're basically half the size of, BlackRock. BlackRock is a little less than 10 billion. 10 trillion. Yeah, with the T. Big, 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 big. Fidelity is at about 5, 4.7. That's huge. You have to pay attention to them. All right, you have to pay attention to them. So when I look at all these events, sorry, there's something in my eye. When I look at all these events, I sit back and I say to myself, there is going to be a hard time for the SEC to say no. Right? So if you look at Grayscale, that's all Grayscale does. When you look at Fidelity, that's not all they do. When you look at BlackRock, that's not all they do. When you look at 21 Shares and ARK Invest and CBOE, that is not all they do. So that means what I'm saying is that these companies know how to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. So when they file for something, I think they have addressed every single concern that a regulator could have, because they're already regulated. They're not in a new space that is either not regulated or under-regulated. They are highly regulated. Highly. So they have to keep their I's dotted and their T's crossed all day, every day. It's going to be hard for the SEC to say no. I'm not going to say that there's a guarantee that they'll be approved, and we'll take a look at that. I reported yesterday that 21 Shares, ARK Invest, and CBOE have an SEC decision date of August 13th. 7 days before one of my son's birthdays, and 10 days before mine. But you sit there and you say to yourself, wow, that's huge. That's huger than huge. And we'll see what's going to happen, because all these companies are very highly regulated. And what's going to be interesting is, if they say no, why did you say no? That's going to be the big issue. It's not the no, it's the why behind the no. That's going to be interesting. And I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna have a hard time saying no, right? And rightfully so. These big companies are making big moves, and that is a big deal. These are two really big reasons for things to go up: the burning of crypto because of Prime Trust failure, right? They lost the keys, and Fidelity getting into the Bitcoin spot ETF space. Those would be big deals. Now, I want you to pay attention to how news works. News operates in steps, okay? You'll hear some news today, and I've said this before, you'll hear some news today, and news like this, like, oh, BlackRock is filing, these companies are filing. A few months later, you'll see a time period later, depending on the kind of news that's dropped, a time period later, you'll see the next shoe to drop. Then the next shoe, depending on the length and strength of that news. So, to that end, we have EDX Markets. I told you about them, last week? Backed by big companies, including Fidelity, that they've dropped Paxos as their custodial partner. And you're wondering, well, why does an exchange need a custodial partner? There you go. The reason why is because they have a non-custodial business model, right? That's what makes EDX special. They're saying, oh no, we're not holding your keys. We have a separate custodian for that because we're going to be offering different kinds of services, and we want to have a separation so that, there are no conflicts of interest. Well, that's different. Now you can see why. Now you can actually see why all of those big companies are backing EDX Markets. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So they dropped Paxos. Who are they talking to now? Well, they're in final discussions with Anchorage Digital, another big player, really big player. So I'm going to be paying attention to that because then the next piece of news will be, oh, they finalized the deal with them. And then the next news will be, and here are the services and why we, did this and why we have this business model. Come work with us. I think that's how the news is going to play out. In other big news, Shibarium has hit 25 million transactions on the testnet. Now, does this mean anything for SHIB or Bone? No, not at all. Except for one thing. That's a huge ass milestone. Huge. And there's other news out there. So when I pay attention to this, I think we're going to look in the future, we're going to look back and we're going to see this as the spark that lit the fire. There have been several sparks before. Spark, and they all have been getting bigger. I think Shiba Inu, Bone, SHIB, I think all of it, the whole Shiba army, I think is going towards some serious upside in the very near future, like this year. I think it's going to be big and it's going to be interesting. Something that I told you about in April in terms of how news drops. April 28th, I told you about how Circle introduced its cross-chain transfer protocol, right? Well, today I'm here to tell you that they have launched it on Arbitrum. The whole idea is they want to launch it on several different strong blockchains, and Arbitrum is one of them. And just so that we can get into this, what does it give you if you're a DApp on there, a DApp smart contracts? It gives you cross-chain swaps, deposits, purchases, and other features that expand the feature set for Circle and enables those cross-chain transfers. That is huge. Very, very big. Very, very positive. Anyway, you know what we should do? We should get into the numbers. So let's scoot on over. And let's refresh the screen because, it's been what, 15 minutes since I've refreshed the screen. And so we go, wow, look at that. Stacks down 6%. Pepe down 6%. Remember, they were down yesterday too. So that's a huge drop, right? That's a huge drop. They were at 60, they were at 65, they hit 67, then they came back down, in terms of where they're ranked on the list to 66. Let's see, Aptos down 6%, Algorand down again 6%. I don't know why. Algo's pretty good. Waves is down 7%. Let's see. Yes, it's one of the coins I pay attention to. Remember I told you about Audius behind that whole Prime Trust thing? Because Prime Trust has an inordinate amount of this coin. I don't even know what Audius is all about. I'm going to have to do some research on that. Or should I? Because I'm not interested. But they're down 7%. And that's all back off of that Prime Trust news. And they'll probably drop some more. Anchor Network is down 8%. That's not pretty. Let's see. Nobody else I'm actually interested in over there on the negative side. On the positive side, it's a tight piece. Stellar is up 6%. VeChain is up 6%. I like VeChain. Stellar, I like Stellar because, back in the day, I was looking at Stellar and XRP as the two that would actually do the whole cross-border transaction thing. So I think there's a lot going on there, and it's something that I'm paying attention to. Is there anybody else on this list that I'm actually interested in? No, not really. Not really. I mean, I did mention Monero the other day, but, this is sideways. When that move, might as well just call that zero. It's not a thing. I like starting with the big board. Let me see if I can. Let me get it back. Let's see. All right. Oh, come on. It takes so long. It's killing me. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So on the big board, what you have right now is Bitcoin down to, 331. But think about this. It's still above 30,000. So it might be a little bit red right now, but it's above 30,000. Ethereum is still above 1850, right? XRP has taken a drop because there's no news going on right now. But XRP is still making global moves. So there's something to pay attention to there. Matic is down dramatically to 63 cents when it had been around 67, 68 cents. So I'm not happy about that. But kind of happy because you can kind of get in. That's the whole DCA strategy, right? So we'll see what happens when, my DCA schedule comes up and it's time for me to go buy something. That's my own personal schedule. You should have yours. And so you pay attention to it. SHIB is actually down. It's down significantly. Now, I'm waiting to see when the whole market picks up, you're going to look back and you're going to say, dog, I should have bought SHIB at this price range because when it burned to zero, remember, it had burned to zero before and then dropped along with everybody else. When it burns that zero again, you're going to see tremendous uptick. And remember, you're talking about just hitting where it was, during the boom. And this bull market looks like we could surpass that. So I'm just saying, that's a couple of things that I'm looking for. DeFi Llama, went from 57 to 56. So not pleased about that, but not going to cry about it. It's nothing to be upset about too much. I think TVL is going to grow. Fear and Greed Index, we're at 62. We were at 55. So you see what I mean? Positivity is growing. That's my whole point. When I look at the numbers in this, just as a list, yeah, Bitcoin isn't moving all too well, except that, in the past 24 hours, yeah, it dropped 1%. So what? Look at where it is year to date. Look at where it is year to date. Look at where Ethereum is year to date. These are the things that I'm looking at. Doge not doing well. Polygon not doing well in terms of year to date, not doing well at all. But look at XRP, 40%. Right? Even Cardano, 10%. You have to pay attention to these things. People are asking questions like, what about this one? What about this one? Cardano's doing fine. Cardano's doing fine. Avalanche is doing fine. Anybody that's positive year to date, great position for when the market picks up that they're going to blow up again. Even Solana, 61% year to date. Just pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to the news and how the news operates. All right. That's way you can, as you continue to do your own research, if you do it daily like I do, you can actually remember that, oh, wait a minute. I remember seeing that back there. And now here it is on this one. And now you can actually see, well, where was the market when this news initially hit? Then what happens to the coin when this news hits? And you can see if you get a nice little pop on each one of those news releases. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you have any questions, let me know. Yes, I know I have to do another one about wallets just because of this whole Prime Trust thing. I will get into it, just not today. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.